This is ABC15 Mornings.
The West Nile virus breaking records right now, really disturbing. All of this taking place, of course, here in the Valley, and we are staying on top of the latest cases. Also checking in with a man who's been fighting for his life after testing positive. And a verdict reached. This was a high-profile trial. Of course, we're talking about the trial of Kyle Rittenhouse. Later on, we're going to hear from people on both sides of this. We're going to get reaction from Rittenhouse's camp and the families of those people who were shot. Two people again killed in this case last year. And something to hopefully make you smile. Uplifting Arizona, how a Valley teen is going the extra mile to make a difference for kids in his very own community. You don't want to miss that one.
Those are always such great stories because you get really some insight into what kids are doing in our community in ways you probably never knew before. Well, we say good morning to you on this Saturday. I'm Nohelani Graff.
And I'm Mark Thompson. You might need a light jacket when you head out the door. Let's just call it brisk.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a good way to describe it. Not really cold, but you know.
Right. You know
chilly.
when you notice it is if you spend any amount of time outside and just kind of stay there, like on our reporting days, that's when you're standing there waiting for your shot and it's freezing, at least by our standards. So if you're grabbing a hot cup of coffee this morning or maybe some tea, make it hot because any help warming up is certainly in order for today. We are going to stay cool over the next couple of hours here as we stay in the 50s through that 8 o'clock hour. It is going to take us a while to warm up today, but we will work our way into the 70s later this afternoon. So we're going to give you the green light, whether you're hiking, running, biking. It's going to be clear and, well, it's not going to be clear, excuse me. Clouds are going to move in. It will be dry and it will be comfortable. So in the 50s right now, in the 70s by sunset, which is at 5:24 today. So it will be a more mild day. 79 is that forecast high. So we avoid the 80s, but that's for today. We are going to ride a bit of a temperature roller coaster over the next couple of days, so we'll talk about that, plus get the rest of that statewide forecast coming up in just minutes.
All right, thank you so much. Happening today, the community gathering to remember MCSO Lieutenant Chad Brackman, who was hit and killed by a car. His funeral at Red Mountain LDS Institute beginning at 10 a.m. A burial will follow at Gilbert Memorial Park Cemetery. There will be road closures along the Loop 202 for that procession. Brackman was just 47 years old and a 22-year veteran of MCSO.
U.S. Postal Service workers attacked on the job. 4 separate robberies across parts of the valley. The locations are up on your screen. You see the stars right there marking them. 2 happening in Phoenix, 1 in Tempe, the other robbery in Mesa. The attackers are still on the loose, too, and it's unclear whether these cases are connected, but the Postal Service is putting out this sketch right here. So if you can pause what you're doing, take a look at your screen, kind of lock in some of those facial details. This is of one of the suspects believed to be involved in those robberies. If you know who he is or anything about them, you are asked to contact police.
Disturbing story here this morning. A father pleading for answers after his son was found shot to death. This was at a Tempe park. Cody Dittmeyer's father telling us that a jogger discovered his body at Kiwanis Park. This was near the boat dock area back in September. It happened just days after his 21st birthday. Cody's dad, who lives in Florida, coming into town to celebrate the birthday, instead finding out that his son was shot to death. And this was all after landing in Phoenix.
I think most importantly, we figure out who and why, and the senselessness of, ending a young child's life at 21 over whatever. Just that question mark hangs.
Yeah, and the father hoping that someone might have heard a gunshot or maybe even has some surveillance video from that area. Tempe police also trying to track down any witnesses in this case. Of course, you can always go to 480-WITNESS if you want to try to help out anonymously. West Nile virus, also a problem here in Maricopa County, an already record-breaking year for the virus, just hitting now a troubling new milestone.
1,000 cases of West Nile in people. The death toll is also rising. So ABC 15's Ashley Paredes is catching up with one Valley woman whose husband is still trying to recover from his battle with the virus.
Our vows of 50 years said for better and for worse, and I take that fully.
Vicki Beard holding on to that and the improvement in her husband Delma's health as he continues battling West Nile virus.
He's wiggling his toes, he's pushing against it. I mean, those sound like very little things, but those are huge things that he wasn't doing.
The 71-year-old hospitalized at the beginning of September. At one point, family thinking he wouldn't make it. Now at a long-term care facility in Scottsdale, taking it one day at a time. Maricopa County hitting another troubling milestone. More than 1,000 West Nile cases this year. Nearly 80 people losing their lives. We're at a pond in Scottsdale. Standing water like this, a hotbed for mosquitoes. But now with cooler temperatures on the way, the hope is that we'll start to see fewer cases. Maricopa County continuing to do surveillance all year round.
We have identified thousands of areas, our problem areas, in terms of mosquito breeding. And then we monitor those areas monthly. We deploy over 800 traps to those areas to surveil the area.
Fogging when needed to prevent mosquito breeding, a way to be proactive and eliminate the problem. As for Vicki, day in and day out, she's by her husband's side. It's her full-time job now.
Be the respiratory therapist, how to be the nurse, how to be the CNA, how to be the therapist. All of this is going to be part of our new normal.
Vicki and her daughter receiving special training for that next week. It's a long road to recovery, and still, Delma may never be the same, but they are ready for whatever life throws their way.
It's a whole new ball game, but we're up to it because we want him home. That's what he wants. He wants to be home.
Ashley Paredes, ABC 15, Arizona.
Now to rebuilding Arizona, our state getting $6 billion from the federal infrastructure bill. ABC 15 taking the time to dig into that bill. Boy, if you see it, it was like 1,000-something pages. We had to roll it out on a cart, and we did it to find out how that money will be spent. So far, we know that ADOT will be getting the biggest chunk of that money, $5.3 billion for highways and bridges. We also know $17 million will go towards preventing cyber attacks. But who will be overseeing all of the funds that will be flowing into Arizona? We asked Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg directly.
Even though these are enormous dollar sums, they can go very quickly if you're not watching to make sure that they're used in the best possible way.
But you're willing and ready to be held accountable.
It's part of the job, and that's something that we accept, the administration accepts, and I think the public is expecting.
And the infrastructure bill, it will be phased in over the next 8 years or so. Coming up in our 6:30 half hour, we're going to be taking an in-depth look at how federal funds are already having an impact on our public transportation system. Now we're going to turn to Megan Thompson with a look at your weekend construction and traffic.
Hi there, I'm Megan Thompson, tracking those weekend construction projects going on that may impact your plans. A big one on the I-10 eastbound between 43rd Avenue and the 17, 9 p.m. on Friday until 5 a.m. on Monday. With that closure, you're also going to see some restrictions from the Loop 202, the South Mountain Freeway. A detour for you would be to take McDowell or Van Buren and access 19th Avenue or 7th Avenues beyond that closure. The Loop 101 westbound, the Pima side of the freeway between 7th Street and the 17, also closing down at 10 p.m. on Friday, lasting until 5 a.m. on Monday. Your detour will take you off the freeway traveling on Bell Road, accessing the I-17 northbound, and then reconnecting with the Loop 101 beyond that closure. There are a few other restrictions to tell you about. They're online right now at abc15.com.
A massive announcement from the CDC. Every American over the age of 18 is now eligible for that COVID-19 booster shot.
Yeah, this as many states, including ours, is seeing a huge surge in cases. And what's expected to be the busiest time for travel since the pandemic started? ABC's Karina Mitchell, that is, has details.
Millions more Americans are now eligible for an extra dose of protection from COVID-19.
Vote number 1 passes.
CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky signing off on recommending boosters for all Americans 18 and older after a CDC advisory panel's unanimous vote. Only 1 in 5 people who were already eligible for a booster have received their extra dose. Some CDC advisors pointing out many people were hesitant because of questions about eligibility.
The guidelines, though well-intentioned, were generating confusion. Today's vote clears that up. Am I eligible? The answer is yes.
CVS and Walgreens will be offering boosters for all those newly eligible starting today. 14 states had already expanded booster eligibility. Meantime, people in some states are already having trouble finding booster availability.
For this location, we don't have any appointments. Yeah, it's fully booked.
Meantime, COVID infections are on the rise across the country. In New Mexico, daily cases have increased by more than 60% in the past 3 weeks.
We are seeing extremely high volumes of patients presenting with influenza-like or COVID-like illness. Most of these patients are unvaccinated. This is overwhelming our healthcare system.
With health officials looking to prevent a holiday surge, doctors are urging the unvaccinated to roll up their sleeves and parents to get their children vaccinated.
I think it's quite safe if everyone is vaccinated. If you have unvaccinated members, using rapid testing can make a big difference.
Karina Mitchell, ABC News, New York.
Well, we have some good news for those of you who are going to be hitting the roads for the Thanksgiving holiday. ADOT opening up a newly renovated rest stop. It's just east of Flagstaff. You'll find it along the I-40. The Meteor Crater Rest Area undergoing a $3.5 million facelift, which is also a fun pit stop to do. If you've got the time, you're going to be up in the high country checking out the Meteor Crater. That's a really cool walk. A Scottsdale couple finding a new use for their Tesla after a family of javelinas arrived near their home. The couple was with some friends inside their home when they saw that family of javelinas just through the window. They wanted to leave, but they didn't want to anger the animals because, as you know, if you've come close, you know, they look cute from here, especially the babies, but they're actually not very nice. So instead, the couple summoned the auto drive feature on their Tesla, and the javelinas scattered. I would have loved to see that on video, but there you go. Now we know the automation works.
Cute is in the eye of the beholder when it comes to javelinas. All right. Uplifting Arizona, students at San Marcos Elementary School getting an early Christmas gift from a Valley teen who is working to make a difference in his very own community. 17-year-old Sam Bergman delivered more than 400 pairs of brand new shoes and over 2,000 pairs of socks to students. Bergman raising more than $14,000 in donations to buy those shoes and socks. Every student walking away with a pair on Friday. How cool.
So inside we have a letter to each student signed by myself or someone else on the team. We have our new Bomba socks, and then under is the pair of sneakers.
Bergman chose the Title I school due to the fact that more than 40% of its students come from low-income households. Well, the time right now is 6:13 on your Saturday morning. Still to come on ABC 15 Weekend Mornings, the holiday travel season, it's kicking off. We're taking a look at how Sky Harbor Airport is getting ready for record numbers of travelers.
Also helping kids go places by bringing resources right to their community. We're going to learn about a nonprofit dedicated to locals. We leave you with a live view of the city lights of Phoenix on this Saturday morning. Stay with us, Arizona.
Helping kids go places, this morning a Phoenix group is keeping it local. And as ABC 15's Kaylee O'Kelly shows us, it was created in one specific neighborhood, and that's exactly where it's going to stay.
Phoenix is booming right now, and downtown Phoenix is great, and things are building up all around us, but the programs look like they did in the 80s, and that's a problem.
A problem Daniel Stanton is trying to fix. He's director of G Road,
a nonprofit after-school program.
So G-Road is a subculture in Phoenix's Coronado neighborhood. We're just trying to take the name and take all the great attributes about our community and build on that.
That means mixing what works with new ideas.
We have programs, gardening and sustainability, where we're teaching 5 and 6 year olds the importance of our environment. We have a media program. The kids are not just drawing with crayons anymore. There's a lot of digital stuff that these kids are capable of doing that they just don't have access to.
Access to programs varies across the valley. Your zip code can have a big impact on resources available to your kids. G-Road is hyperlocal.
We're trying to provide access to our community. So most of the kids that are coming from, to our program are from Phoenix School District number 1. It's our vision to see all of our program participants enter adulthood competent and healthy and well-adjusted. And that's not a lot to ask for.
G-Road has been around for a decade, and now they are fundraising to build a large community center that will be a focal point in the neighborhood.
We have some very ambitious goals here for the next 5 years, and we're excited to strive after those, and we need more people to get involved with our organization. We have identified the problem, and we're trying to be empowered to fix it.
Kaylee O'Kelly, ABC15, Arizona.
And for their efforts in helping kids go places, G-Road is getting a $500 gift card courtesy of the Valley Toyota dealers. Now, if you know an organization that is helping kids go places, just nominate them. Go to abc15.com/kidsgoplaces. No hey.
All right, well, if you're going to be going places this weekend, then let's get you set up with that most accurate forecast. So the first and biggest thing you're going to notice is the cloud cover that's going to start to stream in. So right now we have relatively clear skies over the valley, but by 10 this morning, we're going to start to see that cloud cover across the valley and more widespread across the rest of the state. We'll stay cloudy through the rest of the afternoon and for most of Sunday as well. And then later Sunday afternoon, we'll clear across northern Arizona and here in the valley by about 3 o'clock. But the clouds are going to linger across southern Arizona as we head through the rest of Sunday evening and into Monday. However, despite all of this cloud cover, we're not going to get any moisture out of it. Statewide, we will stay dry. So if you want to wash that car, maybe you're hitting the road early ahead of that Thanksgiving holiday and you're going to make the whole week out of it. You want to shine her up before you hit the road, then we're going to give you the green light to go ahead and do that. This morning, it is cold out there because the clouds haven't quite moved in yet and we have those clear skies overnight. The temps have dropped. We're down to 44 degrees right now in Maricopa and Chandler, 48 in Ahwatukee, 46 in Levine now, 49 in Surprise. Wickenburg is down to 44 degrees. So by our standards, that is very cold here in the valley. Across the rest of the state, we've got some 50s to our south and to our west. Safford this morning, though, has dipped into the 30s. We're in the 40s in Show Low and Payson, but Prescott is just 2 degrees above the freezing mark. And we are in the 20s in Flagstaff, as well as Window Rock and the Grand Canyon, so frigid temperatures up north. Back here in the valley, our sunrise this morning getting later and later, 7:02. So if you want to get a hike in, you've got plenty of time to get to the top of the mountain so you can witness it from there. We'll still be in the 50s through the 8 o'clock hour, so definitely going to need some layers for that hike this morning. By 9, we're still in the low 60s. At 11, that's when we finally transition into the 70s. And then later this afternoon, we top out at 79 degrees will be the official forecast high. And we'll see that in areas like Apache Junction, Queen Creek, Tempe, Peoria, Surprise, and Goodyear. We'll hit 80, though, in places like Buckeye and Maricopa, some of our outlying valley cities. Across the rest of the state, we're going to stay mild up to our north, 60s in Heber and Show Low, and across the central portion of the state. Sedona's going to come close to 70s, but not quite. 70s out west and some 80s mixed in. Up in Flagstaff, you're staying in the 50s for the next several days, low 50s by Tuesday. And back here in the valley, we're going to rebound back into the 80s tomorrow and Monday. But then the breezes pick up. We'll drop back down into the 70s on Tuesday and a slight chance for rain moves in. So I'm going to talk about if that will last through Thanksgiving and what the temperatures will do in time for that holiday coming up in that 7-day forecast a little bit later, Mark.
All right, no, hey, thank you. 6:21 now on your Saturday morning. The verdict is in. Kyle Rittenhouse found not guilty of all charges. Coming up, we're going to get reaction from everyone involved in that trial, and we're going to take a look at some protests that broke out overnight from coast to coast.
But first, Black Friday almost here, and some online scammers may want to take advantage of your excitement. So we're going to speak to an expert next, sharing a few tips to keep your money safe. Black Friday is upon us, and then of course the mad dash to continue shopping will continue after that. So this morning, Lisa Davey from WaFd Bank is joining us to make sure that you don't gift wrap your personal information for scammers. Good morning, Lisa.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So how much of a problem is this when it comes to Black Friday shopping, holiday shopping, and people getting scammed?
I think that it's more prevalent than people really realize, because you are so hung up in the holiday shopping, the deals, the online advertisements, and you click on things not really doing proper research to find out if it's a good product, it's a good website, and it's factual.
So you've got 4 ways that we can protect ourselves. Your first one is research before you buy.
More people need to do their due diligence, and they need to, fact check things, research things, look at reviews. Don't do impulse buying. Take your time researching the URL and looking at the website and making sure that it's an actual factual company.
That was also another one of yours, is use secure and traceable transactions and payment methods. So what does that mean? How do we do that?
Companies like PayPal, and it's a double layer. So anytime you use a third-party vendor that double protects you, you dispute that item through them. They take care of refunding you the money, and then they go and work with the credit card companies to get the money back that way. It's so much easier and a smoother process.
And I think it's worth repeating because you said it, if it looks too good to be true, it probably is. So go with your gut.
I personally tried purchasing something online, and it was a Yeti product. And sure enough, it was too good to be true. And I had to file a dispute through my credit card company, and I got my money back. But that's another thing that, going with your gut is crucial. And you want to take your time and price shop. Compare the product from one store to another to make sure that you're actually getting the product that you want.
Well, Lisa Davey, thank you so much for the tips so that we can all make sure that we're happy with what we bought, no regrets, and our intended recipients get the gifts that we were hoping for too, and not the scammers. So I want to thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you. Have a wonderful holiday season.
You too. Happy holidays.